Today I'm joined by Art and Design Chairman Mark Swain. First question, what influenced you to go down the path of teaching?
Well, I left undergrad being a painter and a drawer mainly, and I wanted to continue painting and drawing, so I went to graduate school. In studio art, there is no PhD anymore, so I pursued my MFA, which is the equivalent of the PhD. And during that 2.5 years at NIU, I taught. A teaching assistantship was offered to me, so I took it my second semester and taught the whole time. And I really enjoyed it. So it's not that I necessarily pursued a teaching profession like a teacher, a K through 12 teacher would, but through my profession, I wound up teaching. And could stay down for about another 1.5 or 2 years at NIU before a job opened up here, and I've been here for 13 years. So I think, like many professors, I'm sort of I guess a professional in my field, but then I also teach. So it's sort of my day job, and I really enjoy it.
Did you play any sports in either college or high school?
I played soccer most of my life. I played soccer at Waubonsie Valley High School, and then I played soccer at Lewis, actually, for 4 years. And then I've also coached here. I was the assistant men's soccer coach for 9 years. I really loved soccer. Really got a lot out of it. I really support athletics, and I like most of what athletics stand for. So soccer, but I also played a little hockey, ski, anything else really.
Who would you say is your favorite singer or band?
I really like music. I've got a wide variety of musical tastes, from like Afro-Cuban to rock, heavy metal, you name it. But probably the most consistent band that I've liked since I was in probably 8th grade has been U2. I like what they stand for as a group. I like their lead singer Bono. He's a little bit of an egoist, but at the same time I like that he's a gazillionaire. He's very successful in his music. He's still very much an artist, very creative. He's been married since, I think, 1980 maybe, or 1979. So he's kept his marriage, his family. He's stayed out of the media as far as, being on drugs and acting like a goofball. And the times that he is in the media, it's for some philanthropic endeavor that he's working on. So I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, he's not perfect, but he's an interesting person to follow.
What's one thing that most people don't know about you?
I've always lived the two lives of academics and athletics. So a lot of people don't know that I played soccer pretty much my whole life. I shattered my leg about 5 years ago, so that pretty much ended my soccer career, just in a men's league. But yeah, I guess I consider myself sort of a family man. They see me at Lewis painting and teaching painting and drawing and things like that, so they know that about me. A lot of them do know that I played soccer here at Lewis. I like to read. I read fantasy and sci-fi. I have for years and years and years, which is sort of not characteristic of maybe what people think of me. So that might be one thing.
And on a typical Sunday, what are you most likely spending your time doing?
As I said, I consider myself a family man, so most of what I do revolves around my 2 kids, 4th and 5th grader, and then my wife. We live in Plainfield. We have a cabin in about 2.5 hours south of us, and just outside of Danville, kind of between Danville and Champaign. And whenever possible, we try to get down there, and it's on a little lake, and that whole thing. So it's sort of a passion of mine, but at the same time, it's sort of a burden. It's an expense and stuff. But we really like going there, and the kids are having a ball growing up doing that. So.
And when you're in college, do you think you'd be where you are at today?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. When I first came to Lewis, I had intentions of getting into nursing. Actually, being one of the few male nurses that walks across the stage at graduation, but my mom's a painter, and there's a lot of art in my family, so I followed that, and I would always draw and paint through high school, but never really thought that I would necessarily go into it until I started painting more. and it just kind of sucks you in. If it's something that you like, I think it sucks you in, and it has a kind of staying power. And so I found myself walking around throughout the day thinking about my paintings, thinking about the art I was making, and I was hooked. And graduate school, for studio artists, graduate school is a great outlet, because as you're maturing and you're becoming more of an adult and more of a critical thinker and a serious thinker, it's a great outlet so that you don't have to just end it right there at undergrad, but you can go into that 2.5 years of continued study. And I'm sure it's true for many professions, but especially for studio art. So for me, it was just a really good experience.
And what's your favorite recreational activity today?
Well, I read a lot. Like I said, I hang out with my kids. Probably just down at the lake, like boating and doing stuff like that. I run. I run a 5K a day, so I do 5 days of a 5K, so 3.25 miles for 5 days a week. And I'm real vigilant about that. And, so that's something that I really look forward to. It's kind of my form of meditation. It takes me about 28 minutes, and a lot of times I will have music on, so it's probably truly not meditation, but it gives me an opportunity to just take a break from everything else and think, and usually I don't even hear the music. I'm just thinking about something, and the run goes like that, and I got my workout done. So,
is there anywhere particular that you run? Or?
You know what, my kids make fun of me because sometimes they follow me on the bike or the rollerblades, or they'll go with me, and they're always mad because I run the exact same route every day. Unless it's really nasty out, then I'll go on my treadmill, but I do this 3.25 mile route along a street, through a little bit of our suburban neighborhood, through the park, by a couple ponds and stuff. I like the monotony of it in some ways. I don't want to mix it up. I like that sort of, the sameness. It probably comes from playing soccer. You play a team sport, and you always have a new opponent. You have new things that happen in games, but basically it's a kind of a monotonous thing that you do. You do the same sport over and over and over. So, I like the monotony.
And finally, would you say you're a Cubs or a Sox fan?
You know what? I'm a total fair weather fan. I mean, I'm a bandwagoner. So I really, I'm a fan of Chicago. I'm not originally from here. I'm from Minnesota, but I really like the city, and I like everything about it, north side, south side. My wife's from the north side, but she's not really an athletic fan either, so kind of whoever's hot, I watch them. I loved watching the Sox win the pennant. I loved watching the Hawks win. I loved all the years of Jordan, watching those. I loved, I saw the 85 Bears. We were here in 85, so whoever's hot, and I always wish the best for every team, so I can't answer that accurately. I probably Sox, though, at least lately, and it might have something to do with Ozzie Guillen, but they seem a little bit less of a corporation and more of just a group of guys that have some interest in playing the sport. I know they're paid well and everything, but they seem a little bit more genuine right now to me than the Cub fans or the Cub players. But I could be wrong.
Hurt my feelings as a Cubs fan. But,
you're a Cubs fan. Oh, I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a Cubs fan if they're hot. But like I said, they are very much a brand. I mean, probably more than anybody in the major leagues. I mean, maybe the Yankees, but I mean, the Cubs are a brand.
They're up there. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your time, Mark.
Okay. All right. Good luck.